What's going on?
A friend of ours is dead in his bedroom. We haven't heard from him for a while. We think he's dead. His roommate just went in there and said there's lots of blood. I didn't go in, but I can give you the phone to someone who went in there.
Yes, please, can you?
Jodi Arias first met Travis Alexander in September 2006 at a business convention in Las Vegas.
Hello.
Hi, so what's going on?
He's dead. He's in his bedroom.
Okay.
In the shower.
Okay.
From the moment their eyes met, there was an instant spark. Travis was charming, confident, and deeply involved in his faith and community. Jodi, on the other hand, was searching for direction and drawn to people who seemed powerful and inspiring. Their first conversations were light, but underneath, Jodi felt something stronger. She admired his ambition and the way he carried himself, almost like he belonged to a bigger world. Travis quickly noticed Jodi's beauty and energy. She was outgoing, eager to please, and willing to follow his lead. What began as friendly talks soon turned into long phone calls and private moments, filled with laughter and intimacy. Jodi believed she had found someone who could change her life. Travis, however, was torn between his faith and his desires. Though he enjoyed Jodi's company, he often felt guilty for crossing lines his religion told him not to. This tension only fueled Jodi's determination. For her, Travis was not just another man. He was the center of her dreams, the person she wanted to claim no matter what. Their meeting set the stage for a relationship that would spiral into obsession, control, and tragedy. Love turns dark at first. Jodi Arias and Travis Alexander seemed inseparable. They traveled together, took endless photos, and shared moments that looked perfect from the outside. But behind the smiles, cracks were forming. Travis wanted to keep his faith strong, yet he struggled with the physical side of their relationship. Jodi, on the other hand, was ready to give all of herself, believing it would keep him close. When Travis pulled away, she felt rejected and desperate. Soon, her love began to turn into control. She checked his phone, read his emails, and grew suspicious of every female friend he had. Travis started to feel trapped, telling his friends that Jodi was unpredictable, sometimes sweet, sometimes frightening. Yet, he could not fully let her go. Their bond was passionate, but also toxic. Fights became more frequent, filled with jealousy, anger, and tears. Jodi clung harder each time Travis tried to create distance, showing up uninvited, calling repeatedly, and reminding him she would never leave him. What started as romance was now a storm, where love and fear mixed until neither could be separated. Their story was no longer just about two people in love. It was becoming a dangerous obsession. Signs of control as the months went on, Jodi Arias' behavior grew more alarming. What Travis first saw as affection now felt like surveillance. Jodi began following him without his knowledge, even driving hours to show up at his home unannounced. She tracked his movements, questioned his friends, and tried to control who he spent time with. Travis confided to those close to him that Jodi was becoming dangerous. He told friends that she had once hacked into his social media, listened to his private messages, and even slashed his car tires in anger. Jodi, however, always denied these accusations, acting innocent when confronted. To outsiders, she appeared polite and friendly, but behind closed doors, her obsession was tightening. Travis felt torn. Part of him cared for her, but another part feared her growing control. Still, he struggled to fully break away, often pulled back by passion and guilt. Each time he tried to distance himself, Jodi returned with promises of change, only to fall into the same patterns of jealousy and control. What seemed like love was no longer love at all. It was possession, and it was slowly consuming both of them. A breakup in fear. By 2008, Travis Alexander had decided he could no longer handle Jodi Arias' controlling behavior. The constant arguments, jealousy, and intrusions into his life had drained him. He ended the relationship, hoping to move forward and find peace. But for Jodi, the breakup was unbearable. She had built her world around Travis, and the idea of losing him pushed her into deeper obsession. Even after their split, she refused to let go. She continued to call, send messages, and appear at his house without warning. Travis grew increasingly uneasy. He told friends that Jodi had become like a shadow he could not escape. His fear was real. He once said she would kill him if he ever left her. Despite his warnings, he sometimes allowed her back into his life, caught between desire and fear. Jodi took these small openings as hope, believing she could win him again. But Travis was already looking toward a future without her, even talking about other women he wanted to date. For Jodi, this rejection was more than heartbreak. It was humiliation. And that humiliation began to twist into something far more dangerous. The fatal day on June 4, 2008, Travis Alexander's home in Mesa, Arizona, became the scene of a nightmare. That morning, He was preparing for a trip to Cancun with friends, looking forward to a new chapter in life. But Jodi Arias had other plans. She drove from California, carrying a camera, a knife, and a gun. At first, the day seemed normal. She spent time with Travis, and they took pictures together, some playful, others intimate. But hidden beneath the smiles was a storm about to break. At some point, a violent struggle erupted. Travis fought for his life, but Jodi's rage overwhelmed him. He was stabbed multiple times, his throat slashed, and finally shot. The attack was brutal, lasting long enough to show pure anger and obsession. When it was over, Travis lay lifeless in his bathroom, while Jodi cleaned herself up and tried to cover her tracks. She deleted photos, washed the evidence, and left as if nothing had happened. To the outside world, she pretended life was normal. But the horror she left behind would soon be discovered, and the truth of that fatal day would shock everyone who knew them. Discovery of truth. For days, no one heard from Travis Alexander. Friends grew worried when he missed important calls and did not show up for his trip to Cancun. On June 9, 2008, they entered his home and were met with a scene of horror. His body was discovered in the bathroom, surrounded by blood, the walls and floors stained with signs of a violent struggle. The brutality shocked everyone. This was not just a killing, it was an act of rage. Police quickly began piecing together what happened. They found a damaged camera in the washing machine, but inside it, investigators recovered deleted photos. These photos told the story of that day, Travis alive and posing, then moments later, images that showed him bleeding and struggling. The evidence pointed clearly to Jodi Arias, who at first denied being there. When confronted with proof, she changed her story again and again, weaving lies to escape the truth. Yet with every twist, the evidence grew stronger. The discovery of Travis's body was not just the end of his life. It was the beginning of a case that would soon grip the nation. Trial and Lies. The trial of Jodi Arias became one of the most watched in American history. From the start, she painted herself as the victim, claiming she killed Travis Alexander in self-defense. But prosecutors showed the jury a very different picture. A story of obsession, control, and premeditation. They presented the photos from Travis's camera, the evidence of her lies, and her changing stories. At first, she denied even being in Arizona. Later, she claimed masked intruders killed Travis. Finally, she admitted to the killing but insisted it was to protect herself. Each shift in her story made her less believable. The courtroom was filled with shocking testimony, explicit details of their relationship, and heated arguments between lawyers. The media covered every moment, turning the case into a national spectacle. Travis's friends and family sat through the painful details, hearing how he begged for his life in his final moments. The prosecution argued that Jodi's actions were not of fear but of jealousy and rage. The lies she spun were powerful, but the evidence was stronger. Piece by piece, her defense began to crumble before the jury's eyes. Verdict and aftermath. After months of testimony and weeks of deliberation, the jury reached its decision. In May 2013, Jodi Arias was found guilty of first-degree murder for the brutal killing of Travis Alexander. The courtroom erupted with emotion. Travis's family cried with relief, while Jodi showed little reaction, her face calm as if the weight of the verdict barely touched her. The sentencing phase became another battle, with prosecutors seeking the death penalty and defense attorneys pleading for her life. In the end, Jodi was spared execution but sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. For Travis's loved ones, justice was served, but the pain of his loss never faded. They spoke of his kindness, his dreams, and the bright future that was stolen. The case left a lasting mark on the nation, remembered not just for its shocking brutality, but for the way it revealed the dangers of obsession and control. Even today, the story of Jodi Arias and Travis Alexander is retold as a chilling warning. Love, when twisted by jealousy and rage, can become deadly.